Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial by Shana's Home DIY and Crafts. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I made a fireplace for my bedroom. Yes, you heard that right. It's that time of the year where it starts getting cold and I need to be warm and cozy, okay? I need to be warm and cozy, so we are going to make a fireplace in my bedroom. Okay, so we're starting off by using a multi-tool, and instead of me ripping up that whole baseboard, I'm just going to cut it out. I did all my measurement already, which I'm not good at measurement. If you guys are new here, welcome, and you're going to hate me because I'm not good at measurement. I use eyeball. I'm an eyeball queen, okay? And if you guys are not new, you already know what time it is. So, anywho, there's two doors. There's one that tape up with a curtain because I didn't want sheetrock dust to go in that room because there's no door in that, and there's another door there, okay? So, the wall that's between there, I measured the length of the wall and I did some math, and however I came up with a 70-inch long. So my fireplace is going to be 70-inch long, and it's going all the way up to the ceiling, which is 8 foot, should be 8 foot. Okay, so what I'm doing is where this 1 inch start to the 70-inch, I'm using that multi-tool to cut that out so I could put my 2x4 in there. Okay, work easier, work smarter, not harder. And one of the things I hate about the multi-tool is one of my most, I hate using the multi-tool because it vibrates so much. I feel like it's messing with my nervous system. It just vibrates a lot. It's not an easy tool to use. It's easy, but it's not. If that vibration, I can't with the vibration. So anywho's, I use my hammer there and my multi-tool, and we're going to go back in. Now, I got sick of it because of that vibration. I'm using my it's like a claw bar. I use those to with the carpet. If you want to see how I do so, you can check that out. Like 2 years ago, I ripped the carpets out. So I haven't been in my bedroom yet. I've been in the guest room because guess what? It's not done. It's the final project of the house, like inside the house minus the basement to get done. So we're working on I don't like to say we because I'm doing the video. I'm including you guys. So I am working on my bedroom. I hope I get it done. I wanted to get it done for my birthday, but it's not going to happen. I work too much, okay? So, and I'm just taking it one day at a time. I ain't going to kill myself. So using the multi-tool to cut that out, and then once I got that cut out to where I want it, I'm just going to go in with my small little chisel, take out those little pieces that I can't get out. Because I'm telling you, the vibration of this tool, if you guys have a better way or know a better way of how I can maneuver this tool so I don't get that vibration, then drop it in the comment section because I would love to hear from it. I watch a lot of videos and I see them guys hand shaking too. Using it, it probably just don't bother them as much as it bothers me. But yeah, so that's all I'm doing, cutting out those areas. So it's up to you. You guys could take the whole baseboard off. I could have taken the whole baseboard off and then use my miter saw to cut that, or a hand saw to cut it and put it back on, but that's more work. And let me tell you, these bad boy are in. These people, the guy who put these in, because it was carpet, I have the carpet ripped out. I ripped out the carpet and I have somebody come in and do the floor. He nailed them bad boy in, and he nailed it in and caulk it in. So it's hard to come off, and it's more work. You gotta freaking get a hammer to get out those nails, especially when you use those nail gun and shoot those nails in. Pain in the ass. So anywho's, now I am sick of that, and I'm going to use a chisel because guess what? The battery power, it didn't die. The battery for the multi-saw didn't die, but it didn't have enough horsepower to run it. It takes a lot of power. So the light will come on, but it's just not. Now I'm having chest pain. See that? Chest pain from using that hammer. So I'm using hammer and chisel. So if you guys do not have a multi-tool, you can use a hammer and a chisel, or you could just rip the baseboard off and cut it, which is, to me, I think it's probably would have been easier, but I don't know. I just did it this way. So do whatever works for you. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. Once I'm done with that, I'm just going to go ahead and place my 2x4 right in those slots, okay? So really, it's not that bad. It's just, like I say, take more muscle and more upper body power. And that's all I'm doing while the drill is getting charged. Because guess what? And again, I hate the vibration. I prefer to take the freaking hammer and just hammer the shit out of that. So that's all I'm doing. And I get frustrated with it. So anywho, we're done. And now I'm over to the saw. And I cut the space. And apparently, I have to cut the 2x4 to fit. Because it's 2x4x8, and you do the math between the flooring and the ceiling. It's 8-foot ceiling, but yada yada yada. It needs to be cut down a little shorter. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. So we're cutting our 2x4 to fit in those slots. If you guys look closely, you could see I now have my 2 slot out, And of course, here we go. We're going to fit that bad boy right in there. And life is good, it looks like. Let's see. I built this a while ago. We just uploaded the video, doing a voiceover. So I don't remember. Can't keep all these things in my head because I have limited capacity and I have to keep space to learn new things. Anywho's, we look like we got those 2 posts in. Again, 70 inches long. And because my bedroom isn't that big, I didn't want to build it out too much. I just want to build it out enough. So what I did with all of this, the reason why I came up with just using the 2x4 like it is I have a 42-inch fireplace that I purchased on Amazon. This is not a promotion or affiliated link video, whatever, but I'm just saying that's where I purchased my fireplace. If you guys are interested, there's nothing here. I'm not promoting the fireplace, but anywho's, I did the measurement. That's how I came up with all this measurement. Did the measurement of the fireplace, which was 42 inches. Guys, believe it or not, it was the first thing I bought for this house because I knew that I needed a fireplace, and there you have it. And God forbid, it's 2 years if it wasn't working. I don't even know what the seller would be doing, if they would have helped me out or what, but it's been 2 years and it just got out of the box. Look at that bad boy right there. There you go. And welcome to my silliness. This happen all the time. Thank God it's not me and it's the fireplace. 2 years ago, I fell off a ladder. Now I have a fucked up knee. Anywho's, so once I did all that, and I'm using scrap wood to build this fireplace. Originally, I really wanted shiplap, but then I'm like, I don't feel like I want to spend any money again, like over my budget for the year. Not just for the summer, but for the year. So, Shane, I don't throw away anything. I save everything and any little thing. Sometimes I buy too much stuff and I don't throw them away. I keep them because you know what? At some point I know I'm going to be able to use them. So we're using the 2x4 and we're using 2x3 as well, because that's what I have in my garage, okay? So once I make the frame with the 2x4, at some place I'm going to be using 2x3 because I have those and I'm trying to use everything that I have. And like that one up top that you see I'm using up there, that's a 2x3 because that's what I have. Really, you want to use 2x4, but I don't have it. So guys, it could still work. You don't have to, we're not professional, okay? We're just building a little something here for ourselves, you know, okay? So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to save my money at the same time where I don't spend too much. So anywho's, once we make that frame, 70, we're trying to screw these in to make sure everything is nice and sturdy. And like I said, the bedroom isn't that big, so I didn't want to build it out too much. So I came up with putting the fireplace where you see almost fell off, and then measure that and know that we have space and room around it. So that was fine for me. So the siding, 70 inches long, and for the side, it's just 4 inches, which is the 2x4. Okay? All right. So now, once I got all that situated and everything, I'm not an electrician and I'm not intend to run any type of whatever electrical power out here. So what I did, I get an extension cord, I drill holes through those studs that I put in, and then I run an electrical cord down up to the top so I can plug my TV in. So now if you notice, I have some leftover sheetrock from my master bathroom. I had the master bathroom redone, and these are mold and mildew resistant sheetrock. I had 2 pieces left over. I'm going to be using it to make a fireplace. Now, if you're going to use sheetrock to make your fireplace, you don't need to go buy no mold and mildew resistant sheetrock. It's way more expensive, and you don't need to do all that. I'm just using this because I already had it on hand, okay? So, and I'm going at a cheaper rate, like I said, trying to save money up here. Use what you already have. That's why I don't throw away anything, okay? So now I'm not a sheetrock cutter, and I'm not good at this, but we're going to make it work. So what I did is I got the sheetrock up, and it was a pain in the ass, as you guys can see, but I did it. Then I got my level, and I'm just going to make a mark because I'm trying to mark out the fireplace so I could cut it after. Okay, really, the right way to do this, you could just do your measurement with tape measurement and go on over, trace it out, and cut it. But like I said, I'm not good with measurement. I'm a better eyeballing person. And for some reason, it's been working for me. So, but don't do what I do. Do the right thing, okay? All right. So now I'm using my sheetrock knife or box cutter, whichever they call it. And boy, I'm cutting through it. Look at that. Look at me. I'm trying to cut through it. And I tell you, I'm trying to give it all the power I can to cut through. And of course, it did not cut straight. It looks like shit. Anywho's, but it did work out, okay? You know, when I'm doing these projects, some of the time it looks so bad, but for some reason it end up turning out okay. A lot of times these projects, man, it's just like, I probably shouldn't. This is probably not the video people want to watch. Because it looks so bad. But it ended up turning out right. You know, who's going to see it anyways? Okay, but me. And I mean, I share it with you guys so you guys are seeing it. But you guys don't know me, right? Really don't know me. You could buy my house and don't even know you're buying my house. Anywho's. So, cutting that. And I tell you, what a pain in the ass to cut that. So, really, you could use a saw. You could use the same multi-tool that I hate how it vibrate. Or, you know. But whichever you do what works for you. Don't do what I do. If what I do work for you, then go for it. That's why I'm sharing it with you, to show you that everything don't have to be perfect. You could do what you can, and you know what you can, and you do the best you can. However, if you know you're going to mess it up worse than I do, don't do it. Because guess what? We don't want to bring the value down in our house. We're trying to bring value up. So be careful of some of the stuff you do. Because some of the things you do, if you don't do it right, it could just literally give you dings. If you're going to sell your house, and just devaluate it, the property, because it's so shitty. But anywho's, so I finally cut out that side to where I want it. Then I'm going to use my screw gun, and I'm going to start getting some screws into the sheetrock so it could stay up on my framing. Okay. So there's no true way of how to really frame that frame. I just frame it so I can swing on it and it doesn't fall down. And if I could have swung on it and doesn't fall down, then life is good, because I did swing on it. Okay. So, and it didn't fall down. Okay. So that's how it is. So we're trying to make sure everything is secure. If you notice, you could see the plywood over there. I'm not worried about it. We could always patch that with sheetrock. Oh, we could always use trimming around it. Okay. So I'm not worried about that. Hey, I did this all by myself. And guess what? I'm proud of me for doing that by myself. Okay. Because this bad boy was no joke to put up there by yourself. Okay. Because my dog just walk around and watch what I do. I don't even know where she at. Anywho's. Now I got that piece up there, getting the ladder, and we're just going to go on up. This is the ladder I fell off of. This ladder, I should get rid of this ladder because it's very light. I use it a lot because it's lightweight versus I have another one, but it's heavier. This is way more lightweight, so I try to use it. But it's no good. It doesn't hold my weight up there. It tilts easily. But, I mean, I'm just right there, so where I'm going to go fall? I mean, I hold on to the wall, but I fell off trying to cut a tree branch down. Anywho's, so now I have the TV frame up, and if you guys are interested in knowing where that's from, it's not affiliated either or promoted. It's from Amazon. Okay, so that's where I got it from. Got the fireplace from Amazon. Got the TV mount from Amazon. Because I couldn't find my old one, and now that I finally moved in the house, I can find the old one. I wish I could return it, but it's 2 years later, so I can't. So I probably put the old one on Facebook Marketplace to see if I could make $1 or $2 from it. Okay, and that's it. So now again, we're using the sheetrock knife to cut out right around that mount, and again, it's not gonna look right. We're trying our best. So once I finish cut that part out, I am going to go ahead and we're going to do some mudding and taping. Okay, so I went ahead, since you guys saw me struggle with the bigger piece of work putting up, I didn't make a video putting up the second part. What are you looking at? You're already seeing that. So yes, my cuts aren't straight, but there we go. I am doing some mudding, and I'm going to put some tape over that, and I'm using the mesh tape. Did I go to the store and buy mesh tape? No, I already have it in hand. Do I go to the store and buy the mud? No, I already have it in hand. So just store it in a nice warm place. Okay, so using the mesh tape, and I've never used the mesh tape before. I've always used the paper tape, and let me tell you, the mesh tape was a steal. And for those people who do sheetrocking and mudding, sheetrocking isn't hard. The mudding and the sanding, mudding can be hard. It's a technique to it, and you know, only because I'm doing this small area. But other than that, I would not do mudding. I would not take on a project to mud a whole bedroom. I've tried that once. I did the first 2 coat of mud and pay somebody to finish it because it's a pain in the ass. Especially, it's not my area. I can do it, but it's not my area. So it takes me forever. And you got to know how to do it to get it really right, you know. But these are small areas. So mud, then tape to caulk up those seams to tighten up everything. And then over the screw holes, that's where you see those little spots. So that's all I'm doing. Hands down to all those people who do this type of job. God bless you. I appreciate you guys. It's just not for me, honey. However, not because it's not for me doesn't mean I'm going to take on a challenge on doing just a small project. Like a small project like this, I'll do that versus calling somebody to pay them. Okay? Yes. So now you guys could see one day. I did 3 coats a month, so I have to wait for what did that, leave it to dry, go to work, come back, and I did another day. I did 3 coats, okay, in each day. So this is like the 4th day after it's dried. I leave it to dry. I'm showing you guys what I'm doing here. So I have my mask on. I have really bad allergy. The windows are open, and I am going to go ahead and sand. So at first I sand with 100 grit sandpaper, then I use a 220 grit to bring that down moisture. So let's guess what. You guys know I always big up these people who sell me these houses because they're the real deal. I went to the basement. I told you, like I said before, if you guys are not new, they leave me a bunch of stuff. And I went to the basement, and of course, paint and stain was a bunch of things they leave me. So I went down to the basement to check out some of what the stuff they leave me. And of course, I found a whole gallon of flat white paint. Okay? So here what? I ain't going to buy no primer. We're going to use that flat white that that paint, that flat paint, to prime the sheetrock. Because you know when you have new sheetrock, you got to prime it. Yes, you could use paint and primer. I always hear people be like, the paint has primer in it, but I'm not a professional painter. So if you are a professional painter or you know anything about professional painting, go ahead and type me in the comment section. Because I feel like when you buy paint and primer versus priming a wall, especially when it's bright color, it takes so much of your paint. It's just cheaper to buy a primer and then do a coat of primer, then do a coat of paint and primer. Sometimes you have to do two, depends on the color. So that's what it looks like after I'm done. And guys, believe it or not, it cost me $231 for trims. So imagine, and the paint. So imagine if I'd bought all the wood, the sheetrock, and everything to do this. Okay. So overall, this project really cost me $231, my time and my gas to go on up to the local hardware store. I'm using some heavy duty adhesive quick glue on here for these trim. So I already cut those down. When you guys weren't looking, I cut those down, and then I put some. I didn't want to use nail, because especially that my nail gun, the nail gun always leave that hole in it, so you have to like use wood filler to fill it in. So I'm using the glue, and I'm going to use some small tacks so you can't even see them, versus the nail gun to leave that hole, because I don't want to fill any wood with wood filler. So I'm going to paint the fireplace black anywho. So if you notice, those trim that I'm putting on the side, they're black, okay? And that's because I could not find a piece of wood that would be the exact measurement of what's out there. Because really, if you think about it, it's not really 4 foot, it's like 5 foot. Because if you got to take into consideration the thickness of the sheetrock plus the 2x4, which is probably another inch. So it's like 5 inches. So I wanted a piece of wood just to fit over that, and it was hard to find one. So I found these black, and I'm going to paint the fireplace black, so it didn't matter. Even if I wasn't going to paint the fireplace black, I would have just painted white, but it looks good just like that. So use the screw and some small baby pin tack, and you can't even see them. Plus I'm going to paint over them so you won't even see them. So once I'm done with that, I have a piece of crown molding leave over from my bathroom, and in my head I feel like I got this. Oh yes, I got this. I'm going to cut the crown molding, and I'm going to put it up there. And this is why I didn't return it, because I knew I was going to build a fireplace. So look at me. I went over here and I set this out at a 45-degree angle to cut my crown molding. Did I do this right? Absolutely not. I should have put the wood to stand up if I'm going to cut it that way, or I should flip the neck off my saw so I get a... I don't even know. If you guys know how to cut at a 45-degree angle or know how to cut crown molding, then you know what I'm saying. So it looks good. I got it up there by myself again. One woman show, okay? I got nails. I screw that, nail it in, the tack nails and everything. Then when it's time to put the other piece, I got that cut sharp too. That cut was nice and sharp. I got to the side. I said, shit, I screw it up. You know, if I had more, I would have taken a chance and cut again, but I had no more, and that was the... that was like the perfect cut. So I had to like go to plan B, okay? And plan B was, keep watching, you're gonna see. So anywho's, now we're on to framing around the fireplace. So again, I'm using that heavy duty adhesive glue, and I'm putting that around. So I cut these at 45-degree. See, these 45-degree wasn't a problem, okay? Because this is like a frame around a TV. I should have cut the crown molding at 45 like I cut that baseboard around the fireplace. You guys probably can't see very well, but you see how that piece of trim around the bottom to the flooring, I should have cut the crown molding the exact way, so I would have a nice tight fit. But it is what it is. It still turned out good. All right, so now I cut those trims for the side, and I'm just using my little rag here, and I'm wiping off any excess. Look how nice that look. So I was gonna originally put a trim around that part up top, but I ran out of trim, so I said, let me leave this. But then you know what? I've come to the conclusion where I said, I ain't gonna buy no more trim, so I end up take that down. So this is what it looks like after it's been dry. All the trims are on. I still need to get another piece of trim for the top there. So I am going to go ahead and we're going to start painting because it's raining and I ain't going up to the store until I like to stop at the store on my way from work. Okay, like I work a night shift on my way home. I stop there, get what I need, so when I wake up I can start working. So here we go. We're using this black paint. I totally forgot the name of this black paint, but if you guys are interested and anybody asks me, I'll go look at the can, look at the tag, and get it in the description box below. So we're using a roller, and it'll take, because I with the primer I did 2 coat of that paint for primer. It took one coat of the black paint on this. So that's all I'm doing, rolling the paint on. Nothing fancy. Use a roller and roll that on, and then I'm just going to use a brush and paint around the trim so everything looks nice. So that's what it looks like after the first coat of paint and everything is dry. I did have to go back around and put more on the trim because the trim did take more. So now it's time to put that TV up. I didn't plan on making a video on this part. I was making a short. So anywho's, I got to drop this part in there so you guys can see the struggle is real. I put up this 55-inch TV all by myself. And you guys probably wouldn't believe, so I just throw this part in there. Okay, because I turned my camera, just this was for TikTok. But anywho's, here you guys have it. Put the TV up, and sure do, yeah, I did it. Go and screw it in and everything. So here it goes. So now it's time to make the mantle around on the fireplace. So I'm going in with my stud finders because, of course, I don't remember where I put those wood. The next thing is those wood that I used to go across. Let's back it up a little bit. Those wood, I found the beam and nailed them to where the beam was, okay? So again, depends on where the beam are in your house. So here we go. Went back to the garage and I found me a piece of 2x4. I cut that down to where I want it to be. And then I'm measuring here. And look at me. I told you guys, I'm an eyeballer. Tape measurement is my friend. And I have so much of them. Isn't that something? Sometimes I be using my finger using one joint for 1 inches. Like one joint of my finger. Like, you know, the first tip of your index finger. I'm like, 1 joint. That's an inch. So just got to make sure it's the same. So now I'm going to be using my drill. And again, I want to make sure this is level. So what I'm going to do is, and look at me using my finger. Just like I say, 1 joint. We're going to secure this piece of wood right here. And this piece of wood is to get the mantle up on there going. And I'm trying, sometimes I be so tired, things are falling, but I'm just still pushing them. Push it, push it, push it, push it, push it. So anyways, still holding up, and I'm going to use it. I just need to get that 1 screw to hold it. If I get that 1 screw that doesn't go all the way in, then I can level it out. And again, the struggle is real. I'm just like, why? Like, why do I do these things? I don't know. But it works out in the end. You know, I do stupid stuff. And I look back and I'm like, why? But then, for some reason, it end up work out. Thank God for Jesus. So now we're going to try again with our stud finder to make sure we didn't miss the stud. Because it's very trickery under there. There's a lot of trickery going on under there. If you guys see the frame, it's nothing like fancy there. So, trying to screw that in. That's all Shayna is doing. And I tell you, the struggle is real. So what I did, I put it down on the ground and pre-drilled a hole. And once I did so, I went and then it was better. Pre-drilled and screw in. So now it's better. I put my lever up there because I just needed somebody to hold it and I have no one to hold it, so I have to just do. So once I got that 1 screw in, then I could maneuver. Just make sure it's not in tight all the way. You got to put it in where you could swing and move and shift that 2x4 a little bit. So now I have my level on top. I pre-drilled my hole because I ain't going to fight with this no more. I'm sick of fighting. So now, now we got it. Now we got it. Now we got it. And I'm still trying to find the rest of the stud to screw that in. So it's that easy. It's that hard, but yet it's that easy. Okay? So that's my struggle. If you're watching this video and you can figure out an easier way, don't make the same mistake I make. Even though it ended up turning out good, but the struggle was real. I'm pretty sure you won't be making this by yourself. You got to have a brother or sister or somebody who could come by and help you. Okay? So that's all I did. So now I'm putting a few screws in there, making sure it's level. That's all, because guess what? We don't want to have a crooked mantle. Okay, and once I'm done doing that, I am going to make my mantle. Okay, stay tuned to see that. So now what we're using to make the mantle is I also pick up some 1x6 by 1. Yeah, 1x6. That makes sense. 1x6 by 8. Yeah, 1x6 by 8. I pick up 4 pieces of those. I only needed 3 pieces, but knowing me, I needed 4 pieces just in case I screw up 1 piece. So anywho, we took it over to our saw. We cut it to the measurement of where we put our mantle. I think it was like 67. The mantle was like 67 plus that. So once I cut that down and stuff, I'm going to just use my sander to sand down the edges because I want it to look round up a little bit, like I make, like it's a real mantle, like not a mantle that I make with wood. Because I do not have a table saw. I've been wanted one for my birthday for a long time ago, and nobody has bought it for me, so I'm gonna have to buy it for myself. But at the same time, if somebody want to sponsor me a table saw, you know what I'm saying? Sponsor me a table saw. I would appreciate it. So anywho's, we're using glue and we're using small baby nails. And these are the nails from my brand nailer, headless finishing nail. Again, I don't want the brand. For some reason, I don't know what I'm doing with that brand nailer, but it leave holes when I shoot nails in, and I have to fill it with wood filler. So after I cut down everything, I'm using the wood glue, and I'm gonna make for cap for one end, and I'm going to use a small pin finishing nail. You can't even see it. And because I'm using the small pin finish nail, I'm using a very small hammer. See that hammer, how small it is? It's like a upholstery hammer. I don't know if that's the right hammer, but it's small. It's not like my other big hammer. So I'm using those finishing nails. And you got to be careful with them because they bend easily because they're not made to be beaten up with a hammer. They're made to shoot in. So that's what I do. I pre-hammer it in and then glue it up with some wood glue, and then I knock that bad boy in. You see that? And then I slowly, as I go along, just knock that in. And nothing new. I'm just going to be doing that to all four sides. Yeah, 4 sides, 3 sides, whichever. So keep doing that, and I put 2 on each end. Then I'm going to do the same thing, repeat myself like history. It repeats itself. Nothing crazy, okay? Yeah, so that's that, and I decided that tonight is the night. That was a night. Yep. Not tonight, but the night when I was doing that, I decided that tonight was the night that this fireplace is going to come to an end. I've had enough. I'm lying. It took me like 4 days to build it, and that's because 4 or 5 days. And that's all because I have to wait on the mud to dry, which is 1 day. Mud again, wait on it to dry, which is another day. So 3 days of mudding because you got to wait on it to dry. But this is a project that you could finish in a day. And if you want, you could literally finish in a day. Because if you go up to the store, you could buy those quick dry mud. They have those mud nowadays that they sell, which is like quick dry. I have this all-purpose mud from like what they use left over from my bathroom. So why am I going to go buy mud when I already have mud? You know how much bucket of mud already went bad for me because I leave them in the garage and forgot to put them inside the basement. And the winter came and it was no use. You can't leave those things in your garage, you guys. You can't leave paint, your caulking, and those things in your garage, especially if your garage is not heated. So, on to the next. Now we're going to cap the top. So we already have both sides on and that piece. So we're capping the top. And there's nothing crazy. We're putting some glue just like you guys see me doing. Glue, nail. Glue, nail. Please guys, don't use the big nail. If you don't have those little fine finishing nail that you could use by a hammer, use your nail gun and use those pin nails, and then you could freaking caulk it. You could caulk it, but I didn't want to caulk this because I'm not painting it, I'm staining it. But if you're going to stain it, you got to use wood filler. Okay, you can't use caulking and expect stain to look nice over caulking. It's going to show up. So use wood filler, which is going to make you have to sand. And if you don't have any wood filler, you could save the dust. Like when you cut your wood, you could save the dust from the wood, the sawdust from the wood, and mix it up with some wood glue and fill it in. And then there you go. There you have wood filler. 1, 2, 3, just like that. If you don't have wood filler, you don't want to go buy wood filler just to fill 2 nail holes, then do that. So just making sure everything is nice and tight and sealed, and everything has a nice finish look where it's not, some part isn't too big or hang off or anything. Just making sure everything lines up nicely. So that's all I'm doing. Crawling on my knees and making sure everything line up. And once I feel like it lined up how I want it, of course, I'm going to take my hammer and my little finishing nail, and I'm going to hammer that bad boy in. There you go. 1. So I put in 1 there. I think I put a total of 6 or 8. 1 there, 1 on the top. 1 there, 1 on the top. Each bottom and top right across. And that's how I did it. So now that I'm all done and I have the mantle together, I'm doing a fit test. Look at that bad boy. So I'm doing a fit test to make sure it fit. I don't want to go any further before I fit this bad boy. So we're doing the fit test. Life looks good. Everything looks okay so far. So once I feel like everything is fine, I'm going to take it down. We're going to do some sanding. And of course I have a sander, but I can't be bothered. It's just easier to use a sand. For some reason, I have a bunch of sandpaper. From that time, if you guys was watching the video, remember when I say I have mother room because I thought I could have mother room. So I have a bunch of sandpaper from then. Okay, so here we go. So I'm using 100 grit sandpaper to just round up these edges and sand that down so it would look like one piece of wood. Because of course I don't have a table saw to do that nice 45-degree angle cut with all these fancy cuts. So we just freaking put our wood together and make sure that the top is that, yada yada yada. Long story short, sanding that down to get rid of that sharp edge so it would look all round up like a real mantle. So using 100 grit sandpaper to do so once I'm done, because the wood is already soft. It's just that I need to get that round edge. So I'm trying to, the lower the number is, the coarser your sandpaper is, and the faster and the more you get off. So we start with 100. Once we're done with the 100, I went to 220 just to give that nice smooth look. Now this part is is preference. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I wanted the edge to be round up where it looks like one, you know what I'm saying, one nice piece. So we're rounding up the edge from the side and everything. That's all I'm doing. So once I'm done doing all of that, like I say, 100 grit and 220, then I'm going to get a cloth, wipe off all the dust, and then I'm going to pre-stain. Make sure you wipe off the dust. You can't put stain on dirty wood, so make sure you wipe off all those dust. I just use a dry cloth and dust it off. So now you're using the pre-stain, you're going to stain. I'm in a closure area. I'm in a room. You guys could see the windows are open. I have the windows open and I have a mask on because this thing smells so bad. And I also make sure that the door is closed so I don't smell up the rest of the house. So we're pre-staining. We're pre-conditioning our wood. And I've just learned this from watching other YouTubers and TikTok videos. I've seen somebody was making a table and they were like, oh, if you want your wood to look cohesive and look the same way, pre-condition, don't skip that step, do the pre-condition, pre-stain, and that will give your wood a nice look. And I don't I don't know if it did work, because if you guys keep watching, you're going to see what color I stained the wood into. Plus it was a nice finishing wood, so I don't know. I think I have to try with a darker stain to see if it, you know, if it works. So anywho, this Minwax pre-stain is saying that you should stain your wood within 5 minutes to 2 hours. Because originally I was going to do the pre-stain and go to get ready for bed. But then when it said 5 minutes to 2 hours, and of course, I did not read what it says first. So I end up had to stain the wood. So here I am using the Minwax stain in the color of Simple White. I wanted to use like a dark walnut and like use like the white gray to do like a whitewash. But then I say, you know what, let me put this on first and see what it looks like. So we'll put on the Simple White, rub that out, and just using a piece of cloth and the gloves. Nothing crazy. And and I'm just wiping that across. Because I also like the natural tone of the wood. But it just wouldn't go well with my floor color to me. That's just me. But I really like the natural wood tone. So I went over with the Simple White. Didn't put too much on because I didn't want it to look too white. So it looks like a whitewash. Keep watching, guys. And you're going to see how that turned out. Oh my God, I won't say anything, just keep watching. So that's all I'm doing. So I did the top, now I'm doing the side, and it was really smooth and easy to do this. I don't know if the condition, I would say, did make the wood feel a little softer, like more smooth and softer versus just staining, because I've stained a lot of raw wood. So now I finished that and I decided that I'm going to put it up to dry for tonight. So I put it up on the fireplace, and I tell you, what I did, I pre-drill in some screw holes. Pre-drill in the screw before I put it up there because I don't want to go out there and fight with it, because I've been done fighting with this freaking thing. So you see, if you guys could look carefully, you'll see I have 3 screw pre-drill. Come to find out, damn it, I put it on upside down. Come to find out, I put it on upside down. You see me go, damn it. So I had to take it off, and then I tried to screw it from the bottom. It didn't work. I just take the screws out. So anyways, I went back in and I put it up and I screwed it. And this is what it turns out to look like. See that top piece? If you make it this far throughout the video, you're the real deal, and you'll see what I'm talking about with that top piece. And I absolutely love how this turned out. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's very cozy. It's nice. So if you want to really see the full bedroom makeover, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload the next video. And if you make it this far, you're the real deal. Okay, so just remember that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Until next time, be blessed and bye for now.